Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel Philosmos, where everything philosophical is discussed. Now, today the lesson is titled Go with the Flow of Life. So recently, I've been attending martial arts classes, and the particular principles that intrigue me in this whole process, but mainly the whole concept that is intriguing me right now that I'm learning in my martial arts classes is the concept of flow. So, the normal approach when you're fighting with someone or when you're sparring with an opponent is to handle that situation with force, with power, with strength. You know, that was the normal approach that I took. Let me speak for myself in terms of martial arts and what I knew about fighting. It was always from the point of view of strength, force, and power. And what I am learning right now, currently, in my martial arts classes, is that strength, power, force is all well and good. But what actually assists you to fight with more intelligence is to incorporate flow. So flow is basically using your opponent's momentum against them. So if I have an opponent that tries to strike me, instead of me trying to resist the strike, which is the normal approach, by trying to resist the punch, then I am effectively getting the full impact. But now when I incorporate flow into that sparring match, into that strike, then I am able to use my opponent's momentum and energy against them. So I go with the strike, and then once I go with the strike, then the energy is dispersed. Another thing is that I do not tire myself out. So when I use power, when I use strength, then that tends to utilize more energy. Utilizing more energy then gets me more tired quicker, at a faster rate. Versus when I use flow, then I can just use my opponent's energy against them. And once I'm doing that, and while I'm doing that, then I get myself to the position where I can cultivate more energy. But essentially, the most important thing here is to understand that flow allows you to take the energy that has been given to you by the strike and cultivate it into an attack that is effective. So flow essentially gets me in the correct position. Then I'm able to take my opponent's momentum and shift it in my desired position, So now, taking this principle, we can most definitely apply this to life. So I see life as analogous to a river current. Life is like a current. And sometimes this current is very exaggerated, it's very strong, and it's going to push you along the banks, and you're going to smash your body on the rocks that you're going to pass. And it's going to hurt, and actually that current could lead to your demise. And then sometimes when you're lucky, the current is very smooth. It's very easygoing, There's not much that you need to do. So the normal approach that most people have to the current of life is to resist it, is to swim against the current of life. And what this does, when you're swimming against the current of life, when you're trying to resist that flow, then what you inevitably do is you get yourself to the position where you feel tired. Okay? When you're using willpower, when you're using determination and focus, then you inevitably get yourself tired. Now, I'm not saying this approach is wrong, guys. I am not saying using determination, using strength, using willpower is incorrect. No. In fact, many people, ample amounts of people, have used willpower, determination, and focus and have actually overcome many obstacles within their lives. So, essentially, what I'm trying to point you towards is not that this approach is wrong, but this approach is incomplete. Or better yet, it is not incorporating another idea that you could use to balance out the willpower and determination. And that is going with the flow. Because when you go with the flow, when you allow things to happen instead of resisting, when you resist the flow, when you resist the current, it makes you tired. You feel like you're swimming against it, which you are. But when you go with the flow, then the current carries you. The current carries you, and you don't really have to do anything. You just need to use that current's momentum to your advantage. Cultivate that energy. So, how we do this in our circumstances and events that we experience, that we view as negative, or we view as inadmissible, or we view as things that we do not want to experience, right? Our normal approach to that is resistance. But now I'm inviting you to allow that circumstance, to allow that event, to allow that negative energy to be there. And then once you allow it, you will feel that force. And then once you feel that force, you can cultivate it to propel you to a higher state of consciousness. But you cannot do that unless you allow it. Drop your resistance. Surrender to the current. Surrender does not mean give up. To allow does not mean to open yourself to an attack. But it means that you are opening yourself up to use that momentum to your advantage. And you'll find now that when you start to do that, when you start to apply this principle in your life, you feel like you have more energy. Why do you feel like you have more energy? Because you're not swimming against the current of life. You are going with it. And by going with it, it takes you to wherever it is that you need to go. Now, I'm making the basic assumption that life is intelligent, that wherever life takes you is where you need to be. Thus, resisting it is only creating an internal struggle for yourself. You're only making yourself feel tired, and you're only opening yourself up to more opposition and to more pain and to more suffering. And pain and suffering in the martial arts world is like you being attacked constantly by your enemy to the point where you're feeling physical pain, So now, incorporating this new approach of going with the flow, you feel more energy. And now you're able to use that opposing energy, that current of life that seems as if it's going to be your demise. Now you use that and you allow it to take you to wherever it is that you need to go. Now, whenever that current fluctuates and gets heavy and gets intense, realize that the current is trying to push you towards a specific goal, a specific destination. It's trying to get you there faster. So now, in the experience of your life, when you experience negative energy, when you experience negative circumstances, when you experience obstacles, see it in analogous to the current. The current only speeds up when you're getting close to the destination. I mean, when you look at a waterfall, when you look at the current of a river, whenever it's the strongest and it's closest to the waterfall, in which everything is going to be more settled. Like the water is more settled there, and there's no current per se, but it's more of a relaxed current. And in that position, you're more safe and you're more at ease and you're more comfortable. So whenever the current gets heavy, gets more intense, realize that your destination is getting closer. Realize that those obstacles, those negative circumstances, those negative experiences, those negative emotions that you're experiencing are propelling you to your ideal destination if you use it, if you cultivate it in the correct way, by not resisting it, but by allowing it. And that's when you allow it, you're able to place yourself in the position where you have more energy and you allow the intelligence of life to move you, to work through you, versus using willpower, determination, and focus, which are, guys, very valuable tools that we can use. Willpower, determination, and focus should be utilized, but it should only be utilized once you have cultivated the opposing energy or the current of life to your advantage. And then you can dictate with your willpower or your determination or your focus where that current takes you. You decide where that current takes you by your focus. But if you resist, but if you swim against this current and you try and fight off the negative feelings and try fight off the negative circumstance and try avoid the obstacles, then the current of life will take you and it will hurt you in the process. And you may even reach a destination that is beneficial for you, but you will not see it as such because you'll be injured, you'll be tired, and you'll be depleted. But once you know that the intelligence of life wants to do most of the work, that you don't have to do much, all you need to do is know how to use the chi, know how to use the force, know how to use the current that comes to you without resisting it, allowing it and cultivating it. That's where you place yourself in the best position to feel more alive and to feel as if you have infinite energy and to feel as if you are being taken care of by the intelligence that governs every living organism in this planet and the universe at large. So thank you very much, guys, for listening to this. Please like if you like this video. Please share if you found this content valuable. Please comment if you'd like to say something. And to end it off, as I always end it off, for those who seek no more, for in the present we find it all. Thank you very much, guys.